good questions, to be honest. Massive truth bombs was dropped, or I think he got. I think the last reporter got him at the end of the day when he mentioned about, look at Man City, like, the recruiter Grealish, Doku, and they're all gelling. And it was pretty much a mass questions to say what is the root cause analysis, what is the problem. And he couldn't really get out of that one. He started to defend himself. Well, hang on, last season it was all about, everyone was telling me about, oh, look at those great signings, Christian Eriksen, Casemiro, Licha. Oh, and then he said about also Malacia, such a great, smart signing. But the whole question was pretty much a pop at, why can't you get these current players gel for you and play for you? But let's go over the questions one by one. I think that was one of the best press conference questions I heard for a very long time. I think it was cool and composed, very good, balanced. Again, I did suspect they were going to ask about the Jadon Sancho in different shape and forms just to get the manager to slip. But really, I really enjoyed how he kind of shut him off straight away. That's it. Just like that's it. But guys, please, I want to hear from your opinions. I want to hear from Mark as well. Good afternoon, Mark. How you doing? How was the backstage? And thank you for eating while you're just joking, man. How you doing? Thanks for keeping tabs on the press conference. Listen, what was your take on the overall press conference? Do you agree what I'm saying, that this was bomba of a press conference in terms of the questions that was asked?
Yeah, it was pretty much, I think it was a good press conference. I think a lot of the questions were spot on. I think some of the questions was a bit laced with different extras on them. Like, Sancho, it seems like they're trying to make Sancho out to be a martyr for some reason, But then again, the press loves to see, the toxicity happen at United, so we shouldn't be expecting any less. I kind of agree and disagree with your take on his response to the question about the signings. I think 8 of those signings he did not sign them. They were signed before he came as manager.
Sure.
So when they talk about all of those signings, I'm like, well, what are you trying to say if he's responsible for them? But in a way, I could understand from the perspective that he should get them to perform well together. At the same time, it's like, for me, some of those players have not performed well under 2-3 managers before, so I'm not expecting him to be the magic man,
No, true, and there's also the player power. So you got to protect your squad at all costs as well. Like you're not going to throw them under the bus. But I think the last couple of questions was huge, massive questions, and the way he was maneuvering it was to say, like, and he kind of gave a little bit of warning to say, like, if you're going to come for Manchester United, it is probably the hardest job you can ever have, including myself and including me as a manager and the past ones that was before me, because the pressure is all of a sudden immense, right? So he was basically digging on mentality, and that was kind of a question, how are you going to recruit in the future? So it kind of gave you a little bit of an indication that you need to have that winning mentality, because you can look at every player that left Manchester United. They're doing well in other leagues, like, because there's no pressure from fans. Because let's face it, our fan base is very impatient, right? We want results straight away. So that comes with pressure, like, that comes also with the pressure on the manager. So when they're playing, they're so, I could see that they're afraid to make mistakes, right? And therefore they're not playing with that freedom to express themselves. There is a little bit of that bubble around it, right? That makes them feel a little bit that extra pressure. But therefore, you need to break through their shackles. Like, take the youngsters like Kobe Mainoo. He don't really care. He just plays a game of football, like, But you don't want players that will crumble, like, you want to have players that could run through brick walls. So coming back to the City question, City don't have a big fan base. They don't put pressure on it. Like, they play free-range football. They play their tiki-taka, and that's about it, right? But if you have a full stadium, if you have a global fan base of 1 million plus watching you and demanding, then it's a total different thing, I think. And that's pretty much what he wanted to say. Yeah. Anyway, the big news, though, I think, in terms of team selection, big confirming news that he said, like, Martinez, Casemiro, Luke Shaw in training, and they will be expected for selection on Sunday. But then he was saying Mason Mount. Yeah. Sorry, man.
I think, when he talked about Eriksen coming back from being ill, I think that's going to be big, having him either to start the first half or come on in the second half is for me, is huge. I think we have to start looking at the squad for certain reasons. There are certain specialists in the squad, and there are certain players that, you know, we need to get the best out of them. I think maybe if we split the role, let Casemiro start the game, bring Eriksen on in the second half, you know, swap those positions so you get both of them getting game time. You know what I mean? Create a difference in midfield. Him mentioning Amad Diallo is huge for me because it seemed like Amad might start ahead of Antony. We all know that he likes Amad a lot. You know, he told Amad he's in his plans. So it's one of those things. Martinez being back, I think it's going to be a huge boost. I'm not too sure if he should start, but if he starts, then, you know, I think it's going to be good. You know, so it's like one of those things. I think our team is in a sort of resurgence period. We weren't performing well in the first 10 games of the season, but in the last 10 games, you know, like even though it was up and down, we still had more consistently better defensive performances and stuff like that.
You know, what do you think about that question? I mean, you can read between the lines, you can read the body language, and pretty much when he mentioned that, he was very fast to say Licha, Martinez, Casemiro, they will be available for selection. Yeah, but that's that telling you they're gonna be, that tells you they're gonna be they're gonna be selected. Will they start? Will they not? Will they come off the bench? One of them will start, and I think it will be Licha, maybe Casemiro. I'll be excited to see Casemiro playing with Kobe Mainoo and Bruno. That'd be something. Anyway, that was kind of the first question. What about the situation heading into Spurs? And you said Amad will return as well. So that was the situation. Amad, you said, will return too. Question 2, what we dissected here was, what about Jadon Sancho? Of course. And I predicted this, you know, when I opened the stream. Do expect this. This is the media tactics. Like, you know, it's so scripted. You know, they give certain information where you can ask in a press conference, but also Ten Hag cannot answer certain questions as well. So they will try to come back with different angles to make him slip.
Shapes and forms.
Under shape and forms. And, you know, he pretty much said, like, look, whatever. I hope he does well and be successful, right? So they kept coming back to the same question again. And it's like, what you want? You know, I'm not talking about it, right? Anyway, and then it was asking about Hannibal as well on the loan, and he said, well, still it's a loan, but there's players that's coming back. It's not a permanent, it's like for development. And then he talked about Mason Mount not being ready as of yet. Like how many weeks left? It is a little bit shambolic, according to my opinion. We bought a number 7. What, we're paying him 250, and how many games has he kicked for us in the Premier League, and he's not back yet? Like, you know, so yeah. So how many?
8.
7. 8 games only. So I think the journalist at the end was trying to have a pop at him for his transfers, like, you know, in a masked, nice way, you know, and to say, would you still be in charge of transfers? Because, hey, you had a clamor, look at this situation, and he was trying to defend himself, like, look, you know, I bought in this been successful, that been successful. He also got a question regarding Anthony Dos Santos. He claimed that, oh, it's still the personal matters, right? But still, but personal matters. But, you know, it comes down to the thumbnail. Play your best players, like, you know, play your best team. And if he's not performing, then you have Amad Diallo, like competition for places, that's going to play instead of you. You know, I don't care if it's a, like, you know, £100 million asset player, they're not really performing, and you're trying to put him into the team. There's moments, there'll be times when he can come in and play, but right now against Spurs, we need the best team, right? So I don't know, what was your take on that?
Yeah, well, I think the media has been a little bit harsh. I would probably even use that X word terminology for the media on Antony, because in the last 2 games he didn't perform well, but the 5 games before that he was the best winger on the field. So they're not even talking about Marcus Rashford, and he's been dropping stinkers for the last 18 games. I think it's crazy the way fans try to jump on Antony's case, but they dealt with Marcus Rashford for 8 seasons doing the same thing or worse.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Antony's last season, it's pretty much Marcus Rashford's season for the last 7 years, barring last year. So it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, it's fair enough. If the fans done with him, it's fine. We could move on to
It's
another
fair
player.
enough,
This
but it's
Ahmad.
been under, I can understand fans and I can understand myself. It's been underwhelming. Like, I judge the players on the pitch, like, and based on the performance. And I would see that it's healthy for a competition. So if Ahmad all of a sudden comes in and outperforms, then he's got to work harder to take his place back. But it's good to have a little bit of rotation. So this is probably the way we're going to move forward. Yeah. And he looked a little bit relieved to say that he spoke like the return of all these key players that were the pivotal fundamental spine of the team was coming back. So for him, it sounds like, a relief, like that's my only signings I'm going to get there. He's treated like a signings. I don't think we're going to get anyone. Potentially, they didn't ask about the transfers, which was strange to me. And they should have asked, do you expect anything out in January? But they probably know that there won't be any, right? It's question. Then they came back with question 4. What does Sancho have to do in Dortmund to get back into the team? It's like, I'm not fucking manager of Dortmund. It's like stupid. Hello, get real. You're sitting there and asking Sancho what Sancho has to do to get back into the team. It's like, I already said enough what he said. Like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Like, I'm not the manager.
That's a waste of a question, Mick. Everybody knows what Sancho has to do. All Sancho had to do was say, you know what, Gaff, sorry, I made a mistake. Whether you mean that or not, that one sentence would end everything. You believe that? How hard is that to say?
I can't believe that question.
You know what I mean, Mick?
That was the dumbest question of the whole interview. Otherwise, it was a really good conducted interview. So, like, listen, question number 4, if we sort of dissect that one as well, I think that was a good question. Finally, like, so they ask about the game. What about Spurs? What has Ange done? So they're asking his opinion about Ange, and he pretty much responded like, he's very proactive, change the dynamic. And we spoke about that yesterday. Like, I had a little bit doubts when he was in Rangers. Was it Celtics or Rangers something? I didn't know he could make it in the in the Prem. But obviously there's, Spurs is doing something different, something unprecedented. They are backing the manager. They're investing heavy in the January window as well. They're backing, believing they're going to finish in top 4. So Daniel Levy is starting to splashing the cash. So finally they got this right, like, but he's playing a proactive style of football. They're playing a very high line. They combine good results with good football. We should have a look at. We should have to take a lead at them.
Against them, but we didn't last time out.
Yeah. If you remember the last time. I mean, we should have won that game. Like, it was a so they were lucky. Yeah, they was lucky, but we played away in Spurs, so that's a good one. Like, he recognized that Ange is doing great, but on the other side, their team is weakened. Like, there's 6 key players out, so no firing power. Unless Kulusevski can be a threat, but that's only one, right? Richarlison. I don't know, man. Question number 6 is what do you want to achieve for this season? How does this game affect you? And I thought that was a good question, Mark. Yeah, so he was basically saying that on Sunday is most important. Don't look further than that. So one game at a time, right? And then we have a 2 weeks break. We have to make the best program, meaning pick the best players, one who've been available, the ones who's available, ones coming back for match fitness, and so and so and so. So that means, like, okay, prove me wrong, Eric. Prove me that you're not going to pick, Scotty Mac and all that cash, right? If you say that these people in the beginning are available for selection, we want to see it. I think most of the fans want to see it, Mark, right? And they all seems to be prepared, right? What's your take on that question and his answer? What was there something in it to give you a confidence that he might go for the same lineup, or he might switch it up a bit?
Well, I mean, you can hear it, but you hear, so he drops the way he says some things for me kind of give you hints, right? Martinez, he opened with Martinez and Casemiro. So one of them is definitely starting in the game. Yeah. The next one definitely is getting some minutes, right? So if I had to bet, I'd say Casemiro starts. His injury wasn't as bad. I'd say Licha gets some minutes, which would be a good boost for the team. And I'd say Ahmad probably starts as on the right wing, if not Garnacho and Rashford, because I think Ahmad is ready ahead of Anthony. We know Anthony suffered a muscle injury. So I think it's positive with the way he talks, because he backs his team. He always defends his players until like they probably cross him and he don't think that he needs to defend them anymore. And I always applaud a manager that takes responsibility for everything that happens and defends his team, because at the end of the day, you could come out here like Klopp and Pep and talk crap about your players all you want, but
Another thing that kind of gave it away with question number 7 when they asked about the defense was pretty much how important was it to have a settled back four despite having playing with 10 different defenders this season. So that kind of gave it away that, he spoke highly about Martinez, and you might see that he's slotting in Martinez together with Varane. You might see that famous Bermuda Triangle, Casemiro coming back, and Ten Hag pretty much responded, you want the team not to swap 3-4 times each game, and maybe 1 or 2, but it's been too many swaps, right? And I started this stream as well to say, like, poor Onana, like, he had 10 different defenders that needs to, like, as a goalkeeper, you need to rely on your defenders that understand you, like, they're the firewall. So they're not being protected in a certain way. So you can point fingers on Onana. He's done some clamors. I agree, but this guy is new to the league as well. So I wouldn't judge him in the first season. I know what he's done in the Premier League and Champions League. Is guilty to X, Y, Z. But Jesus, who else do we play? Boyander is not getting a chance. This is Ten Hag signing, and of course he's going to back him, right? But it's important, and yet again, forget about the Onana agenda. It's about, like, having a solid defense, which I agree that we haven't had. Of course, the last 3 games with Johnny Evans' partnership with Rafa has been successful, though. I think this was a very good dig at him as well. The question 8, what about Anthony Dos Santos? And we spoke about him, about his mental has been affecting him. He gave a lot of excuses. But again, Mark, he comes back to, like, it's a good headache. If Amad Diallo is knocking on the door, we know Pelesi might go on a loan with no obligation to buy to come back. And he talks about all these players going out on loan not to be sold. So basically, they are a return back in this summer. So that's a positive. And the way he's kind of played, like, that's the way they played in Ajax. But I said, Ten Hag, this is not Ajax. This is Manchester United, right? Fans don't have patience. Same with you. You have to adopt, and you got to have your in-game management to recognize it. So anyway, there's always so many questions to ask, but I think at the end of the day was, when they asked the question number 9, like, the club signed 13 players. I thought it was the best question of this interview, Mark, when they said the club has signed 13 players for more than 50 million over the years. Why have there been so few? Why have so few failed? Going forward, the club analyze how it can be reflected when signing players, so we improve that. Mark, that was your question, I think. And basically, playing for Manchester United is a different animal. That's what he said. And I agree. This is what we can agree. The pressure is different. It's enormous compared to other clubs. They need to have a stronger mentality and work harder to earn it, to be the best in class. And that is true. That is absolutely spot on. And I don't know, I couldn't said it any better what he did, but then it's down to the recruitment, what I've been saying in the last couple of streams, to say, the way we're not just going to recruit ballers. We have to check the mental ability, right? Do mental test on them, like, put them on the stress chamber test and see how they can perform, like, because it's another prospect to play under Trafford, and whatever you play in the Premier League is a totally different league. But we've seen it again, like, as soon as they leave Manchester United, they don't have the pressure, and they always start to express themselves, right? So I don't know, Mark, do you agree exactly what I'm saying, or do you have another take?
100%. I mean, like, I don't know if it's because I'm from the Caribbean or South American region, is where they call it the third world, but you always have this mentality that you got to work twice as hard as the next person next to you. And if someone has better opportunities than you in life, you have to work 5 times harder than they do. Talent doesn't just get you anywhere. You know what I mean? You have to be mentally strong. You have to be willing to have strong work ethics. You have to want to be the best. At the end of the day, this is not like a regular day job. This is about being in heavy competition as well. It's high competition.
It's a high pressure job. High pressure job. It's a Wolf of Wall Street job, right?
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street type is this. You got to wake up every morning and say to yourself, "I'm the dragon. I'm gonna breathe fire today." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I totally agree with Ten Hag in this one. So
yeah,
I think it was
because there was a follow-up question as a compared to City. What's the difference in such huge contrast? It's simple. They don't have pressure. They don't have fans. That's the thing.
The stadium is half empty against Huddersfield.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it was such a great press conference. At the end of the day, they tried to make a pop at him, like, what about your signings and there? But he defended it, and at the end of the day, I want us to win. I want to see Ten Hag finally get his. I mean, if he's been waiting for those key players to come back from injuries, because I think that was the key red line of his whole interview, that he was constantly talking about the defense and how important it is to have Licha, Varane, Casemiro back into the team, Malacia. He's basically referring to the success that he had last season, and those players not been available. So he's been trying to cook with, dum-dums that don't really understand the system or are not the kind of players that he prefers, right? So again, I am, again, if you start McTominay, I'm gonna really be upset, to be honest. I think I've seen enough, and I speak my mind. I'm never like to criticize players, but dude, if you're gonna play him and while you have all these availabilities on the bench, then your talk is too cheap here. That's my opinion, because I had enough, and I said it before. I fell out of love with this team, but if they prove me wrong, I will love them again. Like, I will fall in love with them again, Mark.
100%.
The proof
I
will
totally
be in the
agree.
pudding.
Yes, 100%. The proof is going to be in the pudding.
Yeah. So to summarize, everything is very good press conference. It looks like we're going to have a positive selection. I'm really looking forward to. I cannot predict the lineup. I cannot predict the lineup. But what I do hope to see, Mark, is a back four consisting of Dalot. No, Shaw was back, was it? But I think it's too early for Shaw.
Too early for sure. And to be honest, like, I see Ramos in the comments saying Alvaro Fernandez sold to Benfica for 10 million. What kind of rebuild is this? That's not the truth, because no, he's not. His loan doesn't even expire until in May.
Fake news, then.
You know what I mean? They're considering bringing him back to the club because Shaw, as we know, Malacia is training right now, so he's back on grass, and he's further away than Luke Shaw, but his training could leapfrog Luke Shaw's, because Luke Shaw has a muscle problem. So it's one of those things.
Yeah, big up. Good morning to you, Danny B. You're not late. We're just coming to the end of the stream. Just to summarize things, I'm just going to read out. Jackie, I haven't seen you before. Jack Reacher, 85. Only Messi can come into Premier League and play straight away without any trouble. He can try.
In what reality?
Why has he avoided the Premier League all the time? Maybe he knows that he cannot try. Messi's the type of player. Yeah.
I was going to say, Messi can't even make a Travella pass on the outside of his boot when he tried to cross the ball. You think he would play in the Premier League?
Let's park that. Why has Messi avoided the Premier League? Playing in La Liga, he played in PSG. He wasn't really ripping off tree in PSG, right? He's academy Barca man through and through. Of course, he's going to a MLS, lesser leagues, and dominating. Now, you can compare it all day long to Cristiano Ronaldo versus Messi, but at least Ronaldo went to different leagues, and proved it. So there you go. Who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT? So anyway, big up, just to summarize everything. I think we are in for a surprise on Sunday. The proof will be in the pudding. Again, I want him to select the best team. I wish all the best. It's such an important game, because after that, we're not playing another 2 weeks. It's going to be a mini break. It's going to be AFCON. And I guess, like every other fans, I want to be entertained. We're playing at home. We should spank them. They have 6 players out and not. I don't know, man. What's your general gut and feeling? Do you think we're gonna sort of play them off the park on Sunday, or is it to jinx it?
I mean, I don't know if we might play them off the park, but certainly I think we would create more chances at the beginning of the game than they did if we look at the last game we played. It's if we could be more clinical than them. Messi can't hack it in the Premier League. I don't know why anyone thinks he would. It's too physical for him. Whenever Messi plays against physical teams, he crumbles.
And he doesn't track back. He doesn't
track back. Look at him in France. Yeah. People say he was walking around scanning the field, but he was too busy getting three goals and 6 assists that entire season that it was what? He's so good. Top players are great in any team you put them in, not just in one team that's made and built around them. And that's what he has at Argentina.
Ramo is right. We don't see footballers. We will not see footballers like this anymore. Zidane, Ronaldinho, they're GOATs. You know, we're talking about Messi and Ronaldo's. I think that's the last of you see of the professional footballer that really lives and breathes athleticism and football. Like, you know, that really took care of themselves. Like, you know, but then that it's going to be a long time, because right now there's a void, there's a gap. There's nobody that you can talk about who is the Messi or Ronaldo at the moment, right?
No, I don't even think Kylian
Not
Mbappe
even
and
Mbappe,
Erling
no,
Haaland are at that level. They're like
no,
they're
they're
not, they're
not.
not even close. You know what
No,
I
the
mean? Look at what
charlatans, the money, they just for the money, the charlatans. You know what I
I
mean?
mean. I mean, it's like for me, a player needs to a top player of that level needs to elevate the players around him. I don't think Erling Haaland elevates no one at Man City. I think
No,
everyone makes him play well. You know,
okay, if
he's
we
a great
talk about
finisher, but
elite, yeah, but we got to talk about elite mentality. That's something that
he
Ronaldo
has
was
that.
constantly thinking about. Elite mentality. He was living and breathing football, and everything that he did: recover, eat well. He took care of his body, took care of his career. Right. These players are now
Well,
multi-billionaires. They care more about, you know, the brand and, you know, what people's perception more than the football. For them, it's a job, right? Rather than, I want to be the best. And I do respect people that have this mentality, this winning mentality. Like, you want to recruit in people that has this winning mentality. Leacher has a winning mentality. I want to be the best, right? Varane has the
100%.
same. I want to be the best. Like, you know, that's the thing.
It's
I want
like
to compete. I
Garnacho.
want to
Garnacho
win.
has
Yeah.
that sort
Ganacho,
of
same.
mentality. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's like I mean, Ilanga is not out of the club, but he has that kind of mentality. You know, like if I don't do it today, I'm gonna work harder tomorrow to get there the next day. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's one of
Yeah.
those things you have to be able to do it, and you can't make excuses. Like, sure, you're gonna encounter problems. You might even get injured along the way, but you have to work through that. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
it takes to be a professional.
All right.
So yeah, it's one
Cool.
of those things.
Cool. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, there's 2 weeks left of this transfer window. It's going to be interesting, but as I say, I don't believe we're going to get anyone. More potentially like a panic buy in the end of the window. There was talks about this Broby guy, whatever this Brian Broby, and Jesus, get
Brian
out of here!
Brobby.
Like, yeah,
I
Brian
mean,
Broby, and
it's like this, right?
it's
I'll put
another
it.
Eredivisie. No, it's another
Forget the
Eredivisie Eric Ten Hag.
Eredivisie because I think a lot of fans think about it like Eredivisie and Eredivisie. Lots of top players come from the Eredivisie. Look at Gakpo at Liverpool. He came from there.
Yeah, yeah,
Our
yeah.
fans did not want him, and look, he's lighting
But
up
not on a permanent
Liverpool.
signing, though. Not on a permanent signing. We need somebody to come in there for the rest of the season to offload Hoyland.
True,
That's
like a
desperately
loan, and
needed
if it's
because,
a loan,
yeah, he's, you know, we
shouldn't matter
forgot
who it
about
is.
question. Yeah, we forgot about the question regarding the asked about Anthony Martial, and he didn't want to speak much. He was all talking about he's injured, he's nursing, blah blah blah. That's bullshit. He's bullshit. He's not injured. He's basically in for a transfer talk. They want to get rid of him, and that's why he's not playing. He's not part of Ten Hag's plan. He's been told, you know, you got to get out of this club. We're not going to play you, right? Unless he doesn't have any choice, right?
100%.
So I want us to sort of, in that case, just, I don't mind, just get us another, like, you know, secondary striker that could sort of rotate with Hoyland, because I don't want to see Hoyland be burned out for the season, right? Just being this single striker mark, you know. So anyway, that's about it for today. I think there was one of the best press conferences I heard. Really good questions. No more, like, you know, these gossip questions. They did try on Sancho. They slipped that one in. They asked a little bit about Anthony. He gave a very good answer. And basically, you can read between the lines. He's not going to get picked. They're looking to sort of sell him out. And that's about it, man.
100%.
So,
No,
yeah.
and like I
Guys,
think the manager has a little bit of a swagger back, to be fair, from how
yeah,
how he was
he
dealing with
does.
the press conferences. Looked pretty
Yeah.
good. I always like the manager to have a certain confidence when he deals with things.
True.
It gives me confidence for the game. Not all
100%. Okay, this has been the live coverage of the manager's press conference. If you don't forget, by the way, say like and subscribe, hit that like button, and we're looking forward to be back possibly later on at about 9 p.m. UK time. Mick and Jarvis will be here rocking it up as per usual Friday, as Poppy is going to probably, I spoke to Poppy, he's not around to do his happy hour. It's going to be Mancunian, the man in the mask. But we decided me and Jarvis were gonna. It's been a long time since we did Mick and Jarvis show, so we're gonna do that 9 p.m. So guys, tune into that one. You probably, Mark, you will also probably join us if you're available. If not, have a good Friday.
For sure.
Yeah,
and guys,
Friday, everyone. Yeah.
before we let you all go, guys, I just wanted to do Poppy a favor. Poppy is live right now, guys. It would be nice if you all could just, take this time to run across to his channel. I'll drop the link in the comments so you guys could all just, just run across there, smash a like, tell him, you come from the MUFC Realist Raid, and you're raiding his channel right now. You know what I mean, guys? Support Poppy.
Botswana Poppy Football Power. Go support him if you are. We're going to end the show, but go over to that link is in this description. Go subscribe to Poppy, and we will see Poppy on this channel very, very soon, guys. But please, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening to the press conference, and thank you for all the support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The thumbs up to the video. Mark just posted the link. Thank you, Mark. Go check it out, and we should see you to the next video later on tonight. Don't forget to tune in 9 p.m. UK time for the Mick and Jarvis show. We're going to talk about Keane is mean. That's all I'm going to say. Guys, take it easy. Like and subscribe.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yes. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.